Okay, so here we are talking to the Amir and the former Amir of QNoor. And I want to touch a couple of questions coming from those people who would like to become a part of QNoor in the future, inshallah. So Brother Arqam, you were the first Amir of QNoor, and under your leadership, QNoor has become, alhamdulillah, a very strong and vital part of our community. So tell me, what was the experience like being Amir?
The experience. Well, first I have to say that alhamdulillah, that I'm thankful that Allah has allowed me the opportunity to be involved with this work, to be chosen to be in that position, as in chosen to do that task. I think the main source of motivation, at least for me, was just to raise the standards of professionalism of what we're accustomed to in our community in terms of seeking Islamic knowledge. So mashallah, the halaqat and whatnot that are currently held in the masajid, they're good, but they're not necessarily what we as college students are accustomed to in terms of learning style. So I think that's what attracted me to Al-Maghrib Institute. That's what I wanted to bring to serve my community.
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. What do you think some of the skills, talents, and abilities are for a Al-Maghrib volunteer?
The skills that are necessary to become one, or I think probably one of the most fundamental ones would be just to learn the adab al-ilm, basically the etiquettes and the manners of being a student of knowledge, and then what that would mean in terms of attending these weekend seminars and so forth would be just learning the proper ways to respect your teacher, and understanding that may differ from instructor to instructor. I think that's definitely something that's critical.
Specifically in terms of a volunteer, what do you think is needed to be a part of this team?
I think that a sort of passion and drive to want to better yourself and your community is what's fundamental to being involved in this sort of work. And I think, mashallah, I've seen that in a number of the volunteers that are volunteer for QNoor as well as other providers. And that's where my source of motivation comes from, is to see that zeal of people wanting to be involved Islamically, and then also taking their academic background and implementing that for the betterment of the deen. I mean, subhanAllah, it's unsurpassed in my opinion.
Brother Fahim is the current Amir of QNoor. So how long have you been the Amir?
I've been the Amir now for long enough now, about 8 months now.
So what would you tell someone who wanted to volunteer with QNoor?
What would I tell someone wanting to volunteer with QNoor? I think, going off of what Brother Arqam said, is letting them know that there is a high level of benefit to taking part in this. First of all, because this is fi sabilillah, this is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will gain great rewards from it, inshallah.
So what would you say some of your expectations are for the people who work with QNoor, for your volunteers?
I think the biggest expectation that we have from any volunteer is really commitment. It's commitment to fulfilling the responsibilities that they're given, and also leading as well. I know that we have Amirs and Amiras throughout the group, but we hope that each member takes it upon themselves to really help the Qabila grow and be a leader in that respect.
What are some of the skills and talents do you need to be a part of QNoor?
I think your skills, when it goes to the actual breakdown of the Qabila, we have a lot of different committees, some that deal with communication, some that deal with IT, some that deal with academics. So there's a wide array of talents that we seek out and skills that we're always looking for. So I think, again, it really goes back to just having the desire and the commitment to fulfill responsibilities, and inshallah you learn the skills as you go.
So if you can think of one volunteer that has, just surpassed your expectations, don't tell me who that is, okay? But who do you think, what quality does this person have that you would like, inshallah, for the other volunteers to have as well?
Well, by the way, Brother Arqam is standing. It would be bad if I didn't say No, but no, thinking about the volunteers that really exceed expectations are the ones that take it to the next level. They take an assignment, they make it their own, and they surpass everyone's expectations, even sometimes their own expectations that they set initially.
What are some of the manners and etiquettes do you think a volunteer needs?
Manners and etiquettes, well, again, as Brother Arham mentioned, we are working in an environment where brothers and sisters are engaging and communicating quite often. So it's very important to remember all of the correct behaviors and remember your modesty, and inshallah, keep that always in mind as we continue to communicate with each other.
Okay. All right. So I know that Qabilat Noor is not just the only thing that you do. What do you do outside of your volunteer duties with the Qabila? And how do you manage?
What do you do outside of? We'll start with Brother Arham on that one.
How do I manage? The easy answer to that is that I don't manage. Unfortunately, I don't feel as though I'm giving due right to all the different roles that I play, and it's something that I'm constantly struggle to find a balance with. But alhamdulillah, I find that whenever I feel as though I don't have time, and I make time for Islam and just for these classes and to involve myself, subhanAllah, it's as if Allah places His barakah, His blessing in the little time that I have and expands it out. So that's an experience that I personally can testify to, and I hope many of the others can also attest to the same thing.
Oh, can you repeat the question?
What are some of the things? How do you balance and manage your time well with your responsibilities with the Qabila and your other responsibilities?
The planner always helps. I think again it goes back to the support that you get from everyone. So it really is following up with everyone and hoping that everyone else is handling their responsibilities. And I think with the Qabila, we've found that balancing it between our daily lives and the actual work has become easier because the volunteers have grown and they've gotten better at what they do. So I think, alhamdulillah, the balance really just creates itself.
All right, so what are some of the skills that volunteers will gain for the workplace if they work with Qabilat Noor?
I'd like to say a high standard of professionalism. I think, at least on behalf of our Qabila here, one of the things that we definitely strive for is the quality of ihsan. Basically this idea of perfection or excellence in action. So it's something that in each area we're always trying to improve, whether that be making the salah more efficient in terms of coordinating it better, or a simple thing like making certain that everyone knows where to go when lunchtime comes. Little small things like that, and that applies in the real world because we take these skills out there now to know that we're trying to perfect our actions. And so when we enter our workplaces, there's a staunch difference between a person who is practicing Islam versus someone who is not necessarily non-Muslim, but just a Muslim maybe who's not at that level. So and that for me manifests the al-Maghrib experience and the al-Maghrib attitude that can come about from exposure to these classes and so forth.
Actually, one of the things that we've heard is that under your leadership, the two of you, when you were Ameer and Brother Ibrahim while you were Ameer, that a lot of the things that some of the other Qabilas are saying, like for example, Qabila Salam, when they were asked, where did you get all of your ideas from, they said Orlando. So jazakallah for all your hard work. Last question. What is the best part of being a part of Qabilat Noor?
That one to me.
Working with Fahim.
Working with Arham and the other volunteers. Now I think, again, reflecting on the reward that you feel, inshallah, after one of these classes is done, you feel a great sense of accomplishment that you are striving towards something really beneficial in your lives. But I think that's probably the greatest reward.
Just to tag on to that, I think it's the footprint that we're leaving in this community, because I kind of feel that maybe a lot of us got involved just because we wanted to to impress positive change and then do something that inshallah will count as a continuous charity for us, something that will testify for us, for Yawm al-Qiyamah. At least, that's on my behalf.
Okay. Jazakallah.